brand new Bremont Supermarine Polar White to really see what makes it tick. We're going to peel back all the layers, from its forged-in-fire ceramic case all the way down to its mechanical heart, and explore exactly where that modern tech meets classic craftsmanship. So, what does it really take to build the ultimate modern dive watch? Is it all about using these exotic, high-tech, lab-grown materials? Or, does it still come down to the timeless, reliable mechanics that watchmakers have been perfecting for centuries? That's the big question we're digging into today. And the watch we're putting under the microscope is this one, Bremont's latest Supermarine. It is the perfect case study, really. It's a watch that lives right at that intersection of high-tech material science and good old-fashioned watchmaking. So let's see how they pulled it off. Okay, so first things first, what's the immediate impression? The thing you notice right away is this incredibly bold, high-contrast look. I mean, it is absolutely designed to make a statement. But as we're about to see, every single design choice here is really driven by function. Let's just run through the key specs here. You've got a 43mm case, which gives it some serious presence on the wrist. Pretty standard for a modern tool watch. But the real story is that last point, monoblock ceramic construction. Now, that's not just some marketing buzzword. It's the absolute foundation of this watch's entire character, and it's where our deconstruction really begins. So let's focus in on that case, because this is where we get into the science that creates this watch's incredibly tough exterior. Forget stainless steel. We're talking about something else entirely here. 1,450 degrees Celsius. To put that in perspective, that's more than hot enough to melt aluminum and silver. It's the absolutely extreme temperature you need to forge the ceramic for this case, which just hints at the incredible engineering going on here. So how is it actually made? Well, it starts as this super fine powder, which gets compressed into the basic case shape. Then comes the magic, the crucial step, sintering. The case is fired at that insane heat, which fuses the powder into one solid, incredibly hard block. Then, a final sandblasting gives it this cool, matte, non-reflective finish that looks really tactical and cuts down on glare. But the case is so much more than just that ceramic shell. Tucked inside, there's a titanium container that adds a ton of structural strength. It also has a helium escape valve. Now, this is a serious pro-level feature for saturation divers, the guys who live in pressurized environments for days. It lets those tiny helium atoms escape the watch during decompression, so the crystal doesn't literally pop off. Yeah, every single piece here is built for the absolute extremes. All right, we've covered the toughest nails exterior. Now let's move inward, to the face of the watch. With this polar white dial, the whole design philosophy is driven by one thing above all else: ultimate at-a-glance legibility. And to get that legibility, especially when it's dark, you need this stuff, superluminova. It's a photoluminescent material, which is just a fancy way of saying it's kind of like a rechargeable light battery. It just soaks up light and then glows like crazy. And that is absolutely critical when you're deep down in dark water. And look how it all comes together for maximum contrast. That bright white dial is the perfect canvas, making the black-plated hands and markers just pop right out at you. Using different marker shapes helps you orient the dial in an instant, and at night, that superluminova glows this vivid blue, which happens to be one of the most visible colors in dark water. Every detail here serves one purpose: clarity. Okay, so we've seen the tough exterior and the super clear face. Now it's time to go even deeper and look under the hood at the intricate mechanical engine that powers this whole machine. Let's look at the engine specs. It's automatic, so it winds itself with the movement of your wrist, and it has a really solid 56-hour power reserve. But the real story here is in the materials used for those key components. We're talking about the balance wheel, the beating heart of the watch, and the springs that drive it. Using these advanced alloys like lucider and anochrome makes these parts super resistant to temperature changes and magnetism, which are basically the enemies of accuracy. So this isn't just a standard movement, it's been seriously upgraded for precision and durability. So we've deconstructed the tech and the mechanics. But what is it that turns a really well-made object into something truly desirable? Let's look at the final touches that pull it all together: versatility, rarity, and value. A true tool watch has to be versatile, and Bremont gives you two totally distinct options right out of the box. You get a classic, military-style NATO strap, and you also get a modern, sporty rubber strap. The best part? They both use a quick-release system, which lets you change the entire look and feel of the watch in just seconds. No tools required. It's brilliant. Then, you have to think about rarity. So how many of these are being made for the entire world? Just 150. That's it. This isn't some mass-market product. It's a truly exclusive limited edition piece. And that exclusivity, combined with all the advanced materials and engineering we've just talked about, brings us to the price, £6,450. It's really the final piece of the puzzle, the number that represents all of that technology, all that craftsmanship, and all that rarity. And so that brings us all the way back to our original question. What defines a modern tool watch? Is it the high-tech, forged-in-fire ceramic case? Or is it the timeless, reliable mechanical engine beating away inside? You know, I think the real insight from deconstructing this Bremont is that the answer isn't one or the other. It's the seamless, brilliant fusion of both.